Swear what?
You said if you make it, I swear. So now you gotta swear.
I meant I swear to God. Like oh my God.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
Testing 1, 2, 3. Hee. Oh. Oops.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. Good morning, Graham School. Hello, my name is Elise.
And my name is Nor. Today is Monday, May 12th, 2025.
Welcome back from the weekend.
Today we begin your final iReady testing week, and just like last week, you will begin with a Tuesday schedule and test in your first period right after break.
Attention all 8th graders. The promotion ceremony is approaching and Graham is looking for student speakers. Promotion speech auditions are now open. If you are interested in speaking at the promotion ceremony, come audition on May 19th during lunch in room 10.
Make sure to bring a copy of your speech. It should be no longer than 5 minutes.
All interested students should sign up with Mix Orlando in room 10.
Don't miss your chance to have your voice heard at the special event.
Last Saturday, Graham celebrated their first undokai, or Japanese sports day. It was a blast by all the students who attended, and thank you to Miss Galicia and her awesome multicultural club.
There are a lot of performing arts news over the next few weeks.
Tomorrow night, there will be a jazz concert at 7 p.m. in the MUR.
Wednesday, there will be a choir concert at 7 p.m. at the auditorium. Come and enjoy the show.
This Wednesday, there will be an anything but a car day, so ride, walk, scooter, or skate to school this Wednesday and have a chance to win chocolate kisses or a boba gift certificate.
Staff versus student sports at lunch. Over the next 2 weeks, the staff will play the students in 3 sports during lunch.
Wednesday, the Graham staff will compete against the students in soccer, so 10 minutes after lunch begins, head over to watch the game and cheer on your favorite team.
Teachers, please remember to take roll now.
Club news! Here are your lunchtime clubs.
Best Buddies will be meeting today at lunch in the Room 54 courtyard. We think that the Board Games Club is meeting in Room 22 at lunch. Bring your friends to Room 22 to play board games and hang out.
Whether you want to build and program robots or are just curious about how it all works, come check it out. Workshops take place every Wednesday from 3:30 to 5 p.m. in Room 6.
Stop by and see what robotics are all about.
The Robotics Club is meeting today after school from 3:30 to 5 with Ms. Kaiser.
Don't touch the tables. Sports update! This afternoon there will be track practice before we have our second track meet at Graham tomorrow. Last Saturday, the Warriors, without Steph Curry, lost close back-and-forth games to the Minnesota Timberwolves. They play again in a must-win situation at 7 tonight because they are currently losing the series 2-1. Go Bears!
And now we have an important message from our Vice Principal, Miss Kearns.
Oh, geez, Louise. Hey, kids. I'm going to move everything here. Okay, so we are, I think, 12 days left? I don't know. But we don't have a whole lot of time left in this school year. So we just want to remind you, though, that this is the time of year where, kids' behavior start getting a little funky. So please remember that all the rules will still apply. And we do have a non-privileged list for those students who we can't trust anymore. So if you're on that list and you want to get off that list, you need to talk to Mr. Benavides and schedule a meeting with him. I don't know. Also, we have iReady, so do your best. You can do it. Love you, bye.
Thank you, Ms. Kearns, and that is all we have for you today, but be ready for the announcements tomorrow.
The Robotics Club will not be meeting today.
So be sure to smash those like and subscribe buttons.
Have a great day.
And go Bears! Brought to you live by GMStv.